Good evening, America. This is the Big Red One guy reminding you that together we must break the machine. Well, the Biden DOJ is at it again. They just recently sent their Gestapo, one of the three-letter mobs in the government, to go harass a U.S. citizen. Let's get into this article. Heavily armed federal agents show up at home of a Texas doctor after he blew the whistle on a sex change program at Texas Children's Hospital, serving him a federal indictment. Biden's corrupt Justice Department indicted a Texas surgeon who blew the whistle on a sex change program at the Texas Children's Hospital. In May 2023, Dr. Ethan Haim leaked the sex change documents to investigative reporter Christopher Rufo. Dr. Haim was careful not to disclose any patient information, but the Biden DOJ indicted him on 4 felony counts related to HIPAA violations, which, as long as he didn't give any PI out, which is personal information, he should be able to fight this. One day after Dr. Haim exposed the Texas Children's Hospital, the Texas state legislature voted to ban transgender medical treatment and procedures on minors, as it should be. Dr. Haim was informed last year that he was under federal investigation for leaking documents to Christopher Rufo. On Tuesday, heavily armed agents showed up at Dr. Haim's door and told him that he had been indicted with 4 felony charges. Had 3 heavily armed agents at my door 7 a.m. Tuesday to inform me I was indicted with 4 felonies for blowing the whistle about the largest children's hospital in the world, lying to the public about their transgender program, Dr. Ethan Haim said on X. Well, it's a pretty short article, so let's get into a little discussion, America, okay? Because there's some bullshit, okay? Listen, what you do as an adult, once you hit 18 years old, I'm one of those people that will say, I can't tell you how to live your life, what to do with it. If you want to mutilate your body, cut your cock off, rip your fucking breasts off your chest, by all means do so. What I will never stand for is the mutilation of children, okay? Because that's all this transgender shit is the mutilation of children, okay? And it's wrong, okay? There's nothing, it's not scientifically based. There's no real psychological basis for it, okay? And if you're if you're a Christian or you're religious, it goes against every ethos, okay, in religion whatsoever. So like it doesn't on every level, it just doesn't click. Okay. What it really is just it's a grab, okay, by people to tell your children what they are, who they are, and how to be. Okay, because we have 200 years of psychological evidence on how the brain, okay, develops. Little kids at 2 or 3 years old, okay, no matter what anybody tells you, are not thinking about sex unless adults are putting that in their head, okay? And many of these poor children that are having these operations and getting mutilated are being pushed by their parents to do it. And they're being pushed by, failed teachers who became guidance counselors and stuff like that in schools with their school psychologists, just like on top of that. So they're getting this stuff from like every direction. Okay, I've told you in one of my previous videos that our school system is a Marxist one. Okay, it's made to create drones, okay, for work. But one of the other things they try to do is they try to separate the relationship between parent and children. So as parents, you got to push back on this, okay? You have to push back on this. You can't let this shit stand. You can't let it happen. Whatever you do, once you become a legal adult, I don't think anybody should be able to tell you what to do at that point. You might be advised, okay? Maybe you probably shouldn't do that. You should think a little bit more, okay? Uh, and I'm glad Texas jumped in. Some other states are jumping in, doing the right thing, and any doctor, and even the doctor in my family will tell you, if any doctor is willing to mutilate a child for just to make some ends meet, make some money off, because that's all it is. It's a factory for extra income is what it is. They're just mutilating children for the sake of mutilating children to make money. That's all it is. Pushing these drugs on them, the hormone blockers and stuff like that. It's crazy. It is a crazy thing, and it should not be happening. Okay, it should not at all be happening. Uh, you know, one of the things One of the things that you know, they did recently was they did a study, a 15-year study in the Netherlands, okay? And I'll by the way, I'll put the links to the articles in my description in case you want to read them yourself and get a little bit more information and kind of jump down that rabbit hole that I'm talking about. Uh, they did a recent study, okay? And they dropped that study, I want to say 2 months ago, and they found that, you know, if you just leave the kids alone and you just leave them alone, no matter how they decide they want to be, they'll make a decision. And in most cases, many of them turn out to be gay, and that's just what it is. You can't do anything about it. You shouldn't hate your children just because they're gay. Hate the sin, but don't hate your loved ones. You can continue to hate the sin and tell them, hey, you live your life the way it is, but I'm not going to accept your sin. And you can do that. It's okay to do that. Just don't be hateful to people. Listen, like I said, what people do behind closed doors, what people do, especially when it comes to this transition thing, after the age of 18, I don't think me or anybody else has the right to tell, a legal adult what it is they can and can't do. You should always be able to offer guidance, and advise against it. But if someone wants to do something after the age of 18, we can't tell them anything. You know, it's just it is what it is, you know. Uh so here we go. This was from the study, this is from the Daily Mail. Okay. And it reads, as most gender confused children grow out of it, landmark 15-year study concludes as critics say it shows being trans is usually just a phase for kids. No, this was an actual scientific test. It wasn't just something they just made up. They've been monitoring kids, and it's going to show you. I'm going to tell you the breakdown on how it goes. Okay, it tells you in the article. It says 11% of adolescents reported being unhappy with their gender. 19% who reported unhappiness as kids no longer expressed it as adults. Okay, it says the majority of gender confused children grow out of that feeling by the time they are fully grown adults, according to a long-term study. Researchers in the Netherlands tracked more than 2,700 children, so close to 3,000 kids, okay, from the age 11 to their mid 20s. So they got them all the way up until 25. So they followed them, you know, again for 15 years, and it's a long time to follow. Results show at the start of the research, like these stupid ads are killing me. Hang on, sorry people. Yes, his results showed at the start of the research around 1 in 10 children, 11% expressed gender non-contentedness to varying degrees. But again, a lot of this shit is coming from their schools, from their teachers, from the guidance counselors, the fucking neighbors, the mailman, whoever could think about to just prey on your kid, they're gonna do it. Okay, you got to protect your children. Okay, and you got to push back on the shit. Listen. Sometimes you might have to be harsh with them, but other times, try to talk to them, and maybe they'll understand you, maybe they won't. There's a lot of outside forces, okay, in this world that want to take your kids from you and hurt you and hurt your kids too. Says, but by the age 25, just 1 in 25, 4% said they often or sometimes were discontent with their gender. The researchers concluded the result of the current study might help adolescents to realize that it's normal to have some doubts about one's identity and one's gender identity during the age period, and that this is also relatively common. They got a nice little chart, a bunch of charts. I'm not going to get into that with you. Um, if you want to check the article out, you can just click the links. I'll leave a link in the description for it. Again, America, protect your children. Okay? We can't let people go around wanting to take your kids from you and hurt you. It is a horrible thing. Okay? Kids one day, especially young children, okay, who have no idea what sexuality is, okay? I know there's a lot of pseudo psychology, made up bullshit that has been going on for about 10 or 15 years now, okay? Just because they want to prey on your children and they want to me, in the end, they ultimately want to fuck your kids. I hate to say it that harsh, America, but that's what it is. It is to prey on your children, okay, and get them at their most vulnerable state when they're not feeling right to do horrible things to them because there are real life monsters in this world, okay? Um, do some people don't feel right with themselves and, they might turn out to be gay and stuff like that? Yeah, that happens. That's part of life, okay? Again, I said, you can love the person, just don't love the sin. You know, it's just is what it is, okay? Um, and you have to stand your ground with that. Okay, they might not understand early in their age. Maybe they'll understand it when they get older, even if they don't fully grasp it, but they respect it. You know, you don't have to be hateful to your loved ones if they're living a life like that, But this thing with kids, to me, is more important. Okay, what adults do behind closed doors is none of our business. None of our business. If adults want to act a fool, okay, you shouldn't be telling some adult what to do with their life. Okay, it's just how I feel. Okay, many people feel that way, but when it comes to our kids, gotta take care of the children. We absolutely must take care of the children. It is important, okay, that we nurture our children. Many of us, didn't do it right when we were freaking raising our kids and stuff like that, and we had to suffer on our own, okay, because we made mistakes, all right, and didn't do shit right with our children. But this stuff, me included, okay, wasn't a perfect dad. I'll never admit to being the greatest dad on the planet. I wasn't evil, didn't wasn't abusive or anything like that, but I wasn't perfect. I made shit ton of fucking mistakes. There is no manual that comes with kids. But the one thing we can do as a group and as a community is we absolutely must protect our children. Okay? You know, making sure they grow up right is very important. And there are, like I said earlier, there are a lot of outside forces that are pushing not only on you and your family, okay, but are pushing on your children when they leave your home. Okay, many of those forces are not, they don't want to do good things to your kids. So going back to the original article with the three-letter mob coming after this guy to indict, hand him his papers and stuff like that on an indictment. Okay, this is just what it is. This government that we have right now is very, very active in pushing this shit. Okay, and Biden just recently signed some shit to essentially force colleges and stuff like that, and high schools to force little girls and women to compete against men and boys. Okay, you're seeing it on every level now. Okay, they're forcing our girls, okay, our little girls are not being protected right now. The little girls in this country are not protected. The women in this country are not being, women in sports are not being protected right now, especially on the collegiate level. And any fucking woman that goes along with it, you're part of the problem too. Any man that goes along with it, you're even a bigger part of the fucking problem because you should be standing up, okay, to especially for your daughters and your nieces and your cousins and your sisters and stuff like that. You should be standing up for them, okay, especially if they play sports. All right, what's happening is just a terrible thing, and hopefully, okay, people are starting to wake up. I know some states they're starting to put the fucking foot down on that shit, which is good. Okay, you know, just because some boy, so you've seen it a lot of in like Olympic type sports, you're seeing a lot of it, right? Like you're seeing it swimming and track and field and stuff like that on the high school and college level. If some boy, okay, is the fucking 500th ranked dude in the state, okay, because he fucking sucks in the 100 and he can't run. He can't beat 499 other guys, okay? It's right for him to just put on a fucking wig and, throw some shit on, some makeup, do his fucking nails, stuff like that, throw on some women's athletic gear and be like, "Nah, I'm going to run as a woman." That's bullshit. They shouldn't be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed. We develop our muscle mass is different, our bone density is different than women, okay, and we just I just see them as fucking predators, period. That's just how I see it. Those are my thoughts, America. Sad that we have to even talk about this shit. I miss the 1990s. I'm not gonna lie, I really, really miss the 1990s. We had a lot of this shit figured out. It was like, you do what you do, you do your thing. I'll leave you the fuck alone. You leave me alone. You leave my family alone. You leave my kids. Whatever you do behind closed doors is none of my business. Okay. Whatever bar you go to, none of my fucking business. Okay. And I still feel that way. If you're an adult, whatever you do, it's none of my business. I might disagree with what you do. Okay. But I don't feel I have the right to tell you how to live your life because I'm not going to let anybody tell me how to live my fucking life. Okay. Um, so I don't go around preaching to people like, listen, we got clergy in this country for that, right? That's their mission, not mine. Okay. It doesn't matter that, I'm religious and stuff like that. And that's not I don't feel that that is my decision and my way of life to do is to preach to people. I just don't feel I preach in my own way, okay, but I'm not going to preach religion to people because we have people for that, okay, who are better learned than I am in scripture that can do that, okay. Uh, but remember, America, protect your children. This is the Big Red One guy signing out, and remember that together we must break the machine.